Gate drop.
Let's try that again.
That was great.
Welcome back to the Power to the Ground podcast, your home of motocross and supercross for the fans and by the fans. This is episode 57, not muted this time. I hope it was entertaining even while I was talking to myself in my office here. For those of you watching this live, don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video. Say anything in the comments. Do any type of engagement. Wherever you're watching this right now, share it with somebody, tag somebody in the comments. I don't care what it is. Just hang out with us, engage with us. We're trying to get this out to as many people as possible. And we're going to try something a little bit new tonight. We are going to attempt to keep up with everybody's comments while we are going through the show. So it's going to be a little bit of a different format tonight. We'll see how it goes. See if it goes smoothly. We'll keep doing it. For those of you listening on audio, we are doing this podcast on Facebook Live and YouTube Live every Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. Hope you can join us next time. Tonight, we're talking some round 6, and I gotta be totally honest. I've been spoiled by 2 races a week, so it feels like a lifetime since the last race. I had to watch the highlights all over again and reorient myself and remember what happened and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know if you felt the same way, Doug.
Yeah, it honestly kind of felt like the COVID shutdown again, where we were waiting like 3 months to finish the season.
So it's only been 5 days now.
I think so. Yeah.
That's crazy. But spoiled we have been by this 2 races a week. I'm enjoying it. I definitely am enjoying it. So we want to do some. We can't do spots yet because we're still kind of figuring out this whole new system and trying to recreate kind of what we had going on the other side. So you want to do some shout outs?
Yeah, definitely. So like Jesse said, we don't have the spots, so I'll be Vanna White for the meantime. You know, it's we just want to give a big shout out to Sean over at Bro Tacos Foods. And guess what Sean was good enough to do for us, Jesse?
What's that?
He hooked us up with a discount code. I think it's 20% off if you use the code PTTG. Get you some. I think it's probably the best hot sauce that I've had, and I came from Southern California where hot sauce is on everything. So I think it's excellent. It's got great flavors and great profiles. And then want to say thanks to SUNSTAR, the leading manufacturer for OEM sprockets. So I love them. I run them on all my stuff. So hopefully we can get all you guys set up on them. And then that's really all I got right now. Still looking for more. I got a whole wall behind me. We got to fill with stickers. So.
Yeah, we do. I'm reoriented here. I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't have just a plain white wall behind me anymore.
Looks like you flipped your desk around.
I did. I flipped my desk completely around. You can kind of see the casting couch behind me. It's pretty dark back there. So just the way I like it.
I was going to ask, is that a pun?
All right. Before we start, please consider heading over to power2theground.com and making a small donation on the donate page. A little bit goes a long way to helping this thing continue to grow and helps the prizes get better and better. There's going to be some good giveaways coming down the pipe pretty soon. I'll talk to you about that after, Doug.
Yeah.
But or if you prefer, you can jump over to the store on the website and grab yourself some sweet PTTG merch. There's beanies, there's hoodies, there's t-shirts, there's bags, there's all kinds of stuff over there. And if you use the coupon code Orlando, all caps, you will get 20% off. That offer is good right up until the end of the broadcast on Saturday night. I did that because I'm super excited for some more racing because, like I said, it feels like it's been a half a year since the last race, even though it's been less than a week.
Yeah, it's definitely been a stretch. That's
so let's talk a little bit about what happened last Saturday, not with the races, but what we did. Because we did something super fun and just super cool that I think everybody should know that we did. And that is couch cross. We brought back some couch cross.
That was a good time. There was quite a few of us. So what we had, you, Steve, me, my brother was there for a little bit. We had Tiller, who's out there commenting the woot, there we go. It was definitely fun. It was nice it was almost like being at the track, but without all the social distancing, because we were really able to talk about like our thoughts the whole time without just texting each other back and forth, it was pretty nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was like, and then with the audience too, like we had I want to say we had 15 to 20 people on there concurrently at one point. My dad was there. My nephew was there. It felt like, the only way I could really explain it is it felt like it was a Super Bowl party. It's like a Super Bowl party with just a bunch of people just watching the races all together and just hanging out and talking races.
I went to Couch Cross to actually watch the sport, not just to eat the food. So it was I enjoyed it. I could sit there and talk moto all day, and we had a lot of knowledge, a lot of past knowledge and current knowledge that was in the chat room, and it made it really entertaining conversations. Some of it we might have dove super duper deep into, but when you're just sitting there staring at the Peacock blank screen, or I guess it's not even a blank screen now, just kind of overlooking the starting line and watching people walk around, just sitting there twiddling your thumbs is horrible. So I loved it, just to be able to communicate with people, communicate with our fans, our friends, stuff like that. It was excellent.
Yeah. And we'll definitely bring that back. For those of you who weren't there with us, if you're listening to this or watching this afterwards, definitely recommend going over to, I think it's on Facebook and YouTube because we live streamed it. So if you go over to Facebook or our YouTube, you can find the recording of Couch Cross and see what it's all about. But we're bringing it back for round, what did we say, 9?
Yeah. We're definitely gonna shoot for round 9. We're kicking around, maybe trying it coming up. I have some family obligations that I have to see. I have to talk to the warden about the old wife. So see if I can get it done to be there. So stay tuned. We will throw it out on our Facebook page. So we have a sweet logo that Jesse made. So if you see that logo, it's on. Join us for Couch Cross. Let's get it done. So
it is on. I personally like that logo quite a bit. I had a lot of fun putting it together. So what else? What else do we want to talk about? Oh, the new ideas for the segment. So Doug and I have been scrambling the last couple of days because if you haven't seen Doug's breakdowns, Doug does some awesome breakdown videos that you can find only on Facebook or on our website, because YouTube will not allow us to upload it because he uses footage from the races in there in order to do an adequate breakdown, like any news commentary would do. So our idea going forward is to maybe bring some of these other segments, these video segments, into this show and show them while we are doing the show. So like breaking for a second, showing Doug do his breakdown, so that instead of Doug having to reference the video and you having to go back and watch it, if you haven't watched it yet, you can see it right here, and then we can talk about it after we show it. The problem with that is that we are streaming to YouTube. So my concern is that if we were to do that and stream it right now, we would get kicked off our stream right here. So we're not going to do that quite yet. We've got some logistics to work through, but that's coming down the pipeline. I spent more time than I would like to admit trying to get a hold of somebody from NBC yesterday to ask for any kind of guidance as far as what we need to do. I did get some guidance. It's some sketchy guidance, but guidance nonetheless.
If it fits, it ships, man.
So we'll see what we can get rolling with that. You want to jump into talking some races here?
Yeah. So it's the 250s were pretty entertaining. We had Craig Lawrence, who might be the luckiest man out of all Indy that he didn't hit the face of that tabletop. I don't know how he missed it, but the fact that he missed it was insane.
Yeah.
So
I watched it in the highlights right before we jumped on here too. When he came off of the jump before the tabletop, he landed at the bottom of that jump on his front tire and somehow ended up back on the seat before he rolled over the bars and rolled off onto the tabletop.
Yeah, it was insane. It was definitely, don't use that example in any of your physics classes, because I don't think you can explain it. It's and then his charge from the back, him and Jet put on a good show. Man, that was a good race. That was probably one of the best races that I've seen in a while. Those guys just going back and forth. And then Jet doing his little show off, his hard braking going into the corner just before the whoops.
Wow.
I was
looking over his shoulder.
Oh, yeah. I was dying when he did that. I was like, what's he doing? I was like, dang, it's kind of like, it's like old motocross, man, or Supercross, or any of them, any old cross,
Right.
There's so much personality coming out on the track. And then, they battled for quite a while, like a couple laps at least. And then it
was way more than that. It was almost, in the highlights, I was watching it back, it was almost 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was. I know I was going through and I got all the video done for the next, I got most of the video done for the next breakdown, and then I switched video editors. So I'm still working on it. And then I had to get a new mic set up, because having kids slobber all over your mic tends to kind of lead to a little bit of audio issues. So it's, I'm working on getting the next one out. But I know there was a lot of footage where I was like, what clips do I use? Like, that whole night was filled with good racing, man.
Right.
It was you had Shimoda in the heat that, I mean, him going through that section was probably faster than 99% of the 450s when he turned that thing on before he ran into the tough block. And then you had the Jet and Craig battles. You had the Craig wreck. You had Jet and Craig attempting to split Munoz over the finish line jump. And Munoz, he looked the wrong way, man. He, instead of, what was it? I think he looked right instead of left because I think he was expecting Jet to come up behind Craig instead of trying to split him. So it was, he looked the wrong way and tried to get out of the way, but unfortunately him getting out of the way was actually him getting in the way, you know, but it was, I mean, that caused a little bit. And Craig was fast. What, he won by like 12 seconds or something like that over Shimoda.
He was about 12 seconds over Shimoda to finish it up.
Yeah. And then, I think I keep saying Craig and Jet, but it was definitely Colt. You know, the old Nichols. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, but I'm horrible with names, man. And I left all my cheat sheets at work. I was kind of working on them when I probably shouldn't have been, but such is life, you know. It's but watching those guys go back and forth was just, it was great racing. And Shimoda had a good showing. He definitely earned that podium. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite 250 riders.
He's so smooth. That was what I had two notes for the 250, and that was Jet versus Colt. And they're just, it was an epic battle. It was interesting to see Jet off of his game, obviously hurt, not as fast as he normally would be. It was fun to see what he looks like not at 100%, because you could actually see some racecraft come out. It wasn't just raw speed.
Yeah, definitely.
But my other note that I had was Shimoda in capital letters, smooth. And that was really it, man. Like Shimoda from like start to finish, he was just buttery smooth all the way to the end.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to be Roxon-esque when he gets to 450s, if he does get to 450s, where it's not just sheer speed like Tomac or Cianciarillo, but there's a lot of track finesse going on and finesse with the bike to really get it done. And I think we should see good things from him, man. I have high hopes for Shimoda.
I do too. And, you know, judging by his style is so smooth that, I mean, barring something horrible happening, I don't see him getting himself into a tremendous amount of injury problems.
Just as long as he stops jumping on the leader flashing tough block.
Yeah, exactly.
That was that could have been bad.
Yeah, I think that was in the heat, right?
Yeah, that was like the last lap of the heat.
Right. And I think that was the first and only like a real aggressive thing that I've seen him do.
Yeah.
So far this year. And like he hit that tabletop right before he wrecked in that like a rocket.
Oh yeah, he was moving.
That was crazy. But I will I'm just going to make a quick reminder for everybody out there watching. If you want to engage with us while we're talking about this stuff, feel free to drop some comments in the comment section. We're going to try chatting back and forth with you guys. See, my dad says, let's show this. Shimoda is reminding me of Dungey. What do you think about that?
I can see it.
Certainly the consistency part of it, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I also think it's important to note that him and Jet have the same amount of time on the bikes. So you're seeing one with just sheer speed, like just pedal to the metal the whole time, sheer speed, and the other one is like not taking anything away from his speed, but his smoothness is his speed, So it's going to be fun to watch these two progress through the 250s.
Yep. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Oh yeah.
As they say. Yeah, it's two completely different approaches, and one is yielding a result right now, and the other one is not quite. So it'll be fun to watch those two as they get older to see which one, which approach ends up on top.
I think it's going to really be determined by the track. I think once Joe gets a little bit more used to that bike, Jet's lucky where he got to run the same bike 2 years in a row. Joe's kind of figuring out the KX, and I do think that the Honda 250 is slightly better than the Cowie 250. Just my own personal opinion from riding it, but it's going to be fun to see. I think once Pro Circuit kind of gets that bike figured out a little bit more, it's definitely going to be some battles. And we still have Faulkner and Moseman and all those other guys. And Hampshire's out still. So yeah. It's definitely time to stop the East-West Coast stuff and just put them all together, man. And let's just watch some great racing from start to finish. That's really all I want to see.
Yeah, same here. This is kind of getting ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Let's see what does Tiller say here. Shimoda is great to watch, but I want to see him at East-West Showdown. I bet he's going to have a great year next year. I think he's having a great year this year. But I agree. Another year of maturity. That I want the flat out. I just want the East to end right now. So. I want to move on. We've lost enough riders out of this side. Let's let them rest up and get back to it. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go through some results for those of you. I know it's been like 6 months since that race, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have seen that race by now. But let's go through the top 10. We had your race winner was Christian Craig. In the number 2 spot, we had Joe Shimoda. In the number 3 spot, we had Colt Nichols. Number 4, Mitchell Oldenburg. Number 5, Jet Lawrence. Number 6, Joshua Osby. 7, Hunter Sales. 8, Devin Simpson. 9, Thomas Dew. 10, Luke Neese. Probably could have just gone through the top 5 because those are really the only ones that are in any semblance of contention right now as far as the championship points go. Speaking of championship points, Colt Nichols remains in the top spot. He made a lot of moves after going down in that main to keep that red number plate. He's got 143 points. In the number 2 spot, Christian Craig with 137 points. So I hate to say it, but I'm kind of glad Colt went down just to kind of keep the racing interesting.
That's when I was going over kind of the highlights. The only thing that popped in my head was, you remember that Geico commercial with the old fisherman and like the $1 bill?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he did to Craig. Yeah. Gotta be quicker than that, So, but to watch him come back and really watch, like I said, both him and Jet to really get to showcase what is going to eventually make them both champions in their own time it was amazing. And then to watch them square off for as long as they did. Yeah. And then just sit on the berm and talk about it and laugh about it. That's what racing's all about, man. I loved it, so.
Yeah, and we've said this multiple times. There's so much more personality in the 250 class than there is in the 450 class.
Oh yeah.
But Joe remains in the number 3 spot in the championship with 119 points. And Jet is in the number 4 spot with 102 points. And Michael Moseman is in the number 5 spot with 97 points, and everybody else after that. And Moseman's hurt, so he's going to continue falling off that that point spread there.
Osby came out to play this weekend too. It was good to see him up there on that Phoenix Racing Honda, man.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, he's going to end up passing Mosiman.
Yeah.
And he's got a wicked cushion between him and Oldenburg, so
yeah,
that's probably where he's going to end up, is in that number 5 spot for the championship.
It's good to see, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call Phoenix a small racing team, but they're not in Supercross, they're not a super well-known racing team. So it's really good to see like a team like that has as much background in the Honda Power Sports game across the board really get one up there towards the top, man.
Yeah. That's something we definitely are in need of, especially in Supercross, is more sports. Or I'm sorry, more teams.
Yeah.
More sports. We need more teams. So that's all we got for the 250s. Let's you want to jump into some 450s? Anything else to add before we jump over?
Not just as long as when we jump over, we don't end up like Bam Bam and Roxon, just all running into each other going into the corner.
Oh my God! Are you? Is that what you're gonna do for one of the breakdowns?
Yeah. So I'm kind of taking a different approach, which is what's taken me so long. And instead of like, there wasn't a whole lot of like standout action because the races themselves were so good. So what I kind of did was break down almost like my own version of a highlight reel, and then go through and cover some of the stuff and do some of the like the slow-mos and stuff, so you can really see what's going on out there.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Just playing around, trying to figure it out. I've only done 4 or 5 of them now. So
yeah, we'll get these down, and Tiller and I we're still working it out. Well, you're working it out with us too. We're in the Discord talking this whole thing out and trying to figure out what we're going to do with that other segment. So I mean, we're figuring this whole thing out, all of it on the fly. So you're watching it develop in real time, everybody. Time. Yeah, let's jump over to the 450s now. So again, I had really the racing as a whole for this entire the entire round was just so good that there really wasn't, like you said, there really wasn't much to make note of because the racing was so good. In the 450s, you had the top 4 riders, well, right up until the last lap, was it? When Freezy and Barsha went haywire?
It was somewhere around there. I don't remember actually looking at like the timer of the lap. I just remember trying to figure out what just happened.
It was the very end of, it was definitely within the last 2 to maybe 3 laps of the race, but until that, the top 4 riders were like 5 seconds apart.
Yeah,
like it was pretty tight.
The
whole race,
especially considering how far away Roxon walked away at Indy 2.
Right.
It was definitely a tight race.
Yeah.
So it was I mean, it was super fun to watch. And of course, we're yelling back and forth on Restream, you know, did you see that? Did you see that? Like, what happened? Yeah. So it was, I wasn't paying attention to the timer because we were in it, man. Yeah. So it was definitely a great race though. And it was, speaking of Freeze, did you catch his interview with Mathis on the Pulp Show?
I didn't.
Oh, so if you want to hear somebody that doesn't care that he took out a leader, I suggest that you go listen to it. He pretty much blamed everything on Barsha. He was like, well, it's his fault for going that way, and I didn't do anything wrong, and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, just the lack of care in his voice It just angers me. I really feel like I am probably not ever going to be a Vince Freeze fan ever.
Oh, I mean, that's coming from a guy that's been throwing his bike at other riders all season long.
Yeah,
Let's be honest here.
Yeah, it was definitely an interview for the ages if you watched the race. Because I mean, I can't blame Freeze 100% because I do believe that it was a kind of a bad spot, man. So it's hard to really say, but I do have to say it was probably like a 80% racing incident, 15% Bam Bam or 15% Freeze and 5% Bam Bam on that one. So there's a little bit of blame that went around for everybody, but that interview was bad, man. He's not going to be in the good graces of the crowd, I think, in Orlando 1. So
for those of you guys listening to this or watching this right now, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Who do you think was at fault for that, for the very limited footage that we got of it in the broadcast? Who do you think was at fault, Barcia or Freezy? Because that was, I mean, that definitely changed the race for the last couple of laps.
It changed the championship, man. Like, not just the race, it changed the whole season almost.
True.
So it's and if you haven't heard that interview and you are kind of interested, I suggest that you go listen to it. I think they have it just clipped out up on YouTube. But it's definitely an entertaining, or lack thereof, because it's entertaining to hear how much he just doesn't care, you know.
So yeah, that was like my only two notes for all of 450 was Roczen on fire. Not sure what anybody's going to do about that going forward. And then the Freezy and Barcia get together that ultimately took out Tomac too.
Yeah. That was bad timing for Tomac, you know, and they were having a clean battle, which is hard to say when the number 51 is involved. And I mean, let's be honest, Tomac can definitely be aggressive in some of his passes also.
Yeah.
So to watch those two with their extended history going all the way back to amateurs, just beating on each other, usually to see them run clean and just a flat out almost sprint, it was a fun race to watch. It was
especially with that move that Barcia, that block pass that Barcia put on Tomac and that turn coming into the finish jump.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that Tomac knew it was coming, so he let off. But I saw that and I was like, oh my God, both of these guys are going down right now. But it didn't end up happening.
Yeah. Yeah. It was surprising, especially after Barcia pretended to be Goldberg in WWF and tried to spear Roczen in the first couple laps.
Right. It was basically the same move.
Yeah, only he used the brakes this time.
Yeah.
So it was I'm honestly surprised that he didn't damage either one of those bikes with them running into each other like that.
Yeah.
So
let's see what we got here. We got, if Freezy had no history of interference, then I say it wasn't his fault. That being said, he should have moved out of the way.
I definitely don't disagree with that. I think he is definitely a product of his own past on this one, and it's but the same can be said for Bam Bam too. So
true story. And then Michael says, I say 75-25 Freezy.
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with any of them. I mean, this is one of those incidents where you can just look at it and have several different viewpoints, and they're pretty much all valid, you know. So that's why I didn't really want to just choose to do the breakdown on just this singular incident, because I would have to do it would have to be like a 30-minute breakdown because I would have to go over every viewpoint, you
Right.
know?
Every perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, is this one where you're like, all right, well, he's been all right for maybe a season and a half. Do we not take into account his background? And if we take into account his background, do we take into account Bam Bam's background of being impatient? And it's kind of, I can't disagree with any of it. You know, I mean, it's just a really bad thing that happened. And unfortunately, it really affected two top level riders,
Right.
popular top level riders. So,
like two of the most popular top level riders. Yeah.
oh yeah. So Freeze is definitely going to be riding the bad boy train for a while.
Yeah. Tiller says, if what Freezy said is true about how far behind him he thought Barsha was, then I think Barsha is more to blame, but Freezy isn't completely free of blame in either situation because he saw the flag.
That is true. He did admit, he's like, yeah, I saw the flag, but I'm glad Tiller kind of brought up the flag thing, because the one thing that I have heard in multiple interviews over the course of the week is them going over kind of what they're doing with the blue flag. And I guess what they're really doing is there's no consistency. One time they'll throw it and the leader's right on your tail, and it'll be like the first time they throw it, and the very next one will be the leader's like 35 seconds behind you, or 2 lanes over where you can actually see the leader, you know? So it's tough to say if anybody did or didn't see the flag. If that, like, I heard 5 riders that are used to getting past, you know, in the back of the pack say the same thing. They're like, we just never know. And now I know there's a big push for rider communications, and there's stuff that comes from circle track racing that me and my brother used growing up that would work out just fine, where it's just a one-way communication. Whoever the competition director has for the AMA can say, hey, leaders coming through segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, be on the lookout type of deal. That's what they used to do to us in circle track racing. Obviously, there's 2 corners and 4 turns, so there'll be like leaders in turn 1, leaders in turn 4, blah blah blah. But I think something needs to happen, because this is what, the second one in 6 or 7 weeks or something like that we've seen like potential championship destroying incidences. And you can't just keep blaming the same things over and over again without coming up with some type of solution.
Right.
So,
yeah. And the competition, there's so many different variables to this. The competition at the top is getting so tight, and the gap between the competition at the top and everybody else is becoming so large that if you don't do something like that, your only other logical solution really is to start taking the number of riders off of the track. You only qualify like 15 riders instead of 22.
Yeah, and that poses its own kind of issues and problems as well, because it's, for all the riders that you have out there, that's potential marketing stuff for companies coming in that actually want to do something with the sport. You know, I mean, the heads of marketing or CEOs or some guy that you met at Jack in the Box down the street that runs a company that likes you and wants to give you money and stuff. Now you're kind of hampering a lot of that. So it'll definitely be interesting, and it's something that I'm following very closely to kind of see what they plan on doing to try to alleviate some of this. And I'm not going to say it's a big talent gap, but there's definitely a big speed gap, you know, in between maybe 1 through 8 that we've seen so far this year and the rest of the field. And it's not taking anything away from the guys that are 9 through 22, but if you can't tell if the leader is 5 seconds behind you or 35 seconds behind you because the flagger decides that he wants to throw the flag whenever he wants, I mean, that definitely causes an issue. And I can see the rider's point, but I can also see it from the point of a fan where you're like, the blue flag is there, get out of the way.
Right.
You know? And that's Munoz I didn't even I didn't look that close, but I didn't see a blue flag. I didn't see the flagger throw a blue flag for him. He tried to get out of the way on his own accord, with those guys running up on him. And it was it's tough to watch, especially as a fan. You're sitting there cheering on, and Tomac is probably one of the most popular riders today. And to watch him go down, that place probably blew up. So,
right. Yeah, they've got to do something about it. Especially because of the types of tracks that they're putting out there too. If they're gonna put tracks out there that have limited passing options as it is, then you definitely got to do something about the lap traffic too.
Yeah.
So let's get into some of the results here. Yet again, we had Ken Roxon in the number 1 spot. Somebody's got to break this streak, otherwise he's gonna roll. He's gonna keep rolling. Cooper Webb in the number 2 spot. Marvin Musquin in the number 3 spot. Mookie pulled the number 4 spot because of everything that happened, but I'm sure he's happy with that either way. Cianciarulo took the number 5 spot. Jason Anderson in the number 6 spot. Eli Tomac fell to the number 7 spot. Ferrandis took 8, Savacci in 9th, and Zacco took the number 10 spot. And then AP7 with an honorable mention, just because I like watching AP7, took the number 11 spot.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty surprised that Tomac was able to get up after that spill and still managed to get a top 10. I can't remember how many were lapped, but he went hard when he went down. He was quick to get back up and get everything sorted. So I was happy to see it. I'm not the biggest Tomac fan, but I'm glad to see that neither him nor Barsha got hurt during that. So
yeah, I thought Barsha was hurt at first. I think
he was just very, very mad.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I would imagine. How can you not be?
Yeah, he fell to the number 19 spot.
Yeah,
that's a big drop for him.
And I like what your dad said too. Did you see it?
They need to limit the flaggers to beer and eliminate the whiskey. Yeah. And they shouldn't be able to check their Robinhood investment account while they're racing either. Yeah, it's not just the whole thing has been a mess so far this year. Let's be totally honest. They've had flaggers issues, and broadcast issues, all kind of stuff. I know they're working with against the grain right now because they've got a consolidated schedule and all of that kind of stuff. But man, the Supercross and Feld, they have definitely had their issues so far this season. But the season standings as of right now, Kenny's got your red number plate still with 138 points. Cooper is in the number 2 spot with 122 points. Eli is in the number 3 spot. He missed out on some points, but he did his best. He ended up with 114 points. Cianciarulo's in the number 4 spot with 105. Barsha falls to the number 5 spot with 96 points. And he is tied with Ferrandis in the number 6 spot, also with 96 points. And then Mookie, 1 point behind that with 95 points. Musquin at 94 points in the number 8 spot. And then it falls off from there. Zacco in the number 9 spot with 87. And then AP7 in the number 10 spot.
Breaking the top 10.
Yep.
It's crazy how close all the Yamahas are, though.
Right. Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there are 3 of them within 5 spots.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
And poor Marv, man, that dude has had not a very smooth season.
No, not at all. And he looked like he was going. There's been a couple of times this season where I was like, oh man, he's back. but he then falls off a cliff shortly after I have that thought.
Like, if you would just watch the heats, you would think Marv is back. Like, don't watch the main, just watch the heats and Marv's back. And then you watch the main and you're kind of like, what happened? So, but it's, I think our chat is a little bit behind. I have Tiller brought up the weather for this weekend coming up, which I think is going to play a very large role.
What's going on with the weather? I haven't seen this yet.
So Orlando is outdoors.
Yeah.
It's a outdoor Supercross track and it's supposed to be wet. So we have the potential for a mutter. We have the potential for somewhere in between. And we also have the potential for a dry track. So we really don't know. So if it is a mutter, we might see Barsha back up towards the top, but we haven't seen him in the mud on the gas yet. And I think that's really going to shake things up because Roxon is not guaranteed to win out. I mean, he's having, I'm holding out hopes because I really wanted him to win this year. But if it's a mutter, I definitely don't see him winning in Orlando, Well,
he's definitely not guaranteed a win. I mean, he, again, fourth place. Tomac was in fourth place with, I'm pretty sure when the flag, the clock struck 0, Tomac was in fourth place and he was less than 5 seconds down from Roxon. So, I mean, there's a tight gap between these guys. He's not guaranteed anything right now. Especially when
definitely not
into it.
And it's, I mean, I sent you that statistical thing that I was talking about the last time where it's 73% chance. But when you look back through most of those years, there wasn't 4 or 5 guys that you could throw a blanket over that could win at any point in time. So it was, I mean, they were all kind of, I wouldn't say runaway seasons because it's from like 1977 all the way to now, but it's historically, it's, you definitely see a guy right about now really starting to pull away from everybody else. And we really don't see it. The only time we saw that was Indy 2, and I think that's just because everyone got jammed up racing behind Roxon, and he just ran for it.
Took off. Yeah, totally agree. So, what do you wanna do? I mean, we did a little bit of a weather preview, so we've got a potential mutter coming. You want to drop your top 2?
My top 2 on a mutter in Orlando. I would probably have to put, I'll go crazy. I'll put Cianciarulo in 2 and maybe Zacho up top, man.
I think that's in a mutter. I think that's a solid call.
Yeah. I mean, nobody ever knows what's going to happen in a mutter, right? But if it is mud and it's kind of like the Florida dirt, I trust Zacho to get it done. And I think AC has enough skills on that bike to get it done in the mud too. And I would normally pick Tomac, but I have a feeling we might see clutch pieces fly off of Tomac's bike. So I can't pick Tomac in if it's going to be super muddy, I can't pick Tomac. I have a feeling he's gonna start losing the old go juice towards the end. So
all right. So I'll play off you a little bit because I definitely think Zacho had some stuff in some outdoor races this past outdoor season in some muddy situations. So I can't disagree with you on the Zacho side. If it's muddy, I got to put, in no particular order, I got to put Barsha and Zacho up there.
Yeah, well, the only reason I'm hesitant about Barsha is we don't know how that gas is going to do in the mud. We know how Bam Bam does in the mud, but that gas is still way too new for me to say that I think he's going to get it done. That's kind of where I was, because at first when you asked me, I was like, oh, it's going to be Tomac and Barsha, and then I was like, well, Tomac finishing a mud race is kind of a long stretch, and we don't know what that gas is going to do, and I don't think the KTM Husky hybrid mix that we call a gas has really proven itself in the mud yet. So I'm a little hesitant on that one, but
I'll follow you on that logic. Got you.
Yeah, now when we go to do pick'ems, I can't guarantee that I'm gonna pick the same thing because I got to see how the track's doing, But it's just from what I've read so far, I got to go Zacho AC.
Got it. So this is what we're doing right here. This is definitely part of what I was thinking for like the segments being involved. Like,
Yeah,
this is what I would love is for right here, right in this part, we cut to Tiller Tallies playing during this broadcast, and then we come back and then talk about what we got.
Oh yeah, and he's chomping at the bit too. We just got to get some technical stuff figured out. And of course, really the only one good at the technical stuff is you. I just push buttons until it either crashes my computer or works. So
we're working our way. We're working our way through this. We've all got our own zone of expertise, and we're trying to like share it amongst each other via Discord, basically.
Oh yeah, and that's if you guys hear us talking about the Discord, you guys are more than welcome to join too. It's just a collective of like 15 guys I think we have right now, and we talk about everything. It's mainly focused towards Supercross and motocross and like off-road racing, but we have like cooking, music, just day-to-day life, and it's called Warthog's Moto Room. So that's
crazy on the cooking stuff the other night.
Oh yeah, we have one of our buddies, Skyra. I'm pretty sure he was like a professional chef in his other life because that dude makes crazy food. And I'm sitting over here like I just made a hot pocket, like
it's not a hot pocket. It's protein.
Yeah, right. But it's definitely fun, and I think you can find it. If not, when we jump off of here, I'll jump on the powertotheground.com and throw it up in Talk MX again. So
yeah, sweet. So if you guys out there, if you're not a member on the theground.com, it's a free membership. You can jump on there. You get access to the Talk MX forum where Doug's going to drop the link for the Discord, which is it's basically an enclosed Twitter is basically what it is. Like, you don't have to worry about any of the mess. It's just the people in that chat room.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you get access to the TalkMX forum. You get access to the PTTG videos, which we're going to be doing some more stuff with that in the future. For right now, it's a very reliable place for you to go watch the Down and Dirty breakdowns by Doug.
Since I am pretty infamous on YouTube with their administration right now, I think I've gotten like 3 or 4 videos banned for 30 days. So.
We'll call that the Down and Dirty 30.
Right? Just trying to do my job, people. Like just trying to do my job. So
let's go over. Let's take a look at the Pickum scores for the season. Who got the number? Mike Bashara got the most amount of points this week with 11 points. In general, the scores were pretty bad for round 6.
That's 2 weeks in a row, man. Everyone's kind of losing their edge.
My dad for round 5 did really well. He got 14 points for round 5.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, good. Like, we're grading on a curve, I should have an A. And then here comes David just walking in with scoring 100 basically. I don't know how you can get any better during that race. I was definitely impressed.
And you and Steve have been tied. Hang on. All right. You had 6 points each in round 1. Then he had 7 in round 2. You had 8 in round 2. Not tied there. The next week, he got 12. You got 11. That tied it up. So you guys have been tied since round 3.
Yeah. And the worst part, like, well, not the worst part, the weirdest part is we don't ever put the riders, like, our top three is different every week.
Right.
And it just keeps going back and forth. Like, one of us will get first place, the other one will get second place, and then it's it's crazy. I don't know. It's good fun. So
it is good fun. So we've got our top five here. We've got Curtis Johnson in the number one spot with 55 points. Steve and Doug tied for the number 2/number 3 spot with 53 points. Terry Schaefer is tied for the number 4/number 5 spot with Cole Platt with 51 points. Oh, and a honorable mention to Brian Bearden, who also has 51 points. So if you guys don't know where to find that, you can go over to the website and just go to the Pickum Results tab in the menu, and you can see all of your scores, all of your buddies' scores. If you're not playing, you can put in your picks starting tomorrow at noon, and then those will open up until Saturday at what time is that race? Is it 8?
It's a Saturday race, so yeah, I think it would be 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so they'll be open up until 8 o'clock on Saturday for you to get your picks in. Yeah, it's good fun. Definitely good fun. I think that's all I got for this week, man. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much. It's great racing last weekend. Let's hope that we can carry it over. So
yeah, I can't believe that was last weekend and not last year.
Yeah, and we got to get Tiller squared away, man. We got to get Tiller's tallies going. So
Tiller's tallies, Tiller.
Oh yeah,
we'll get this going, man. We will get this going. This is gonna be awesome. I've got faxes and papers to send to NBC to beg them for permission to use their footage in limited capacity on our videos, and hopefully we can get your stuff up and rolling too. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. So that's about all I got for this week. Doug, thanks for chilling with me tonight. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. It's just a friendly reminder to our good folks out there. Hit up Bro Taco. Get you some of the world's best hot sauce. That's actually, when you called me to start this, I was just finishing up a nice DiGiorno pizza with some Brap sauce.
Cool.
So, and then don't forget to hit up SUNSTAR and get all your sprockets and chain needs taken care of. So they cover pretty much every bike that is here, at least in North America. So other than that, go use, what is it, code Orlando?
Code Orlando.
Yeah, I got to get a beanie. It's been like 20 degrees outside, so my head's freezing. So I definitely got to get a beanie from you.
I wear my beanie basically every day. They're nice. They're very warm. They've got the little ball, the puff ball at the top.
The puff ball. I think Tiller has one, and he said that it was awesome. I have like shirts and the masks and stuff like that, but I'm always wearing a ball cap, man. So it's I definitely need to add to my hat collection, probably a PTTG beanie, and I think some of our other folks need to too. So
I agree. Go over there, use that coupon code Orlando. You've got until Saturday night to use it for that 20% off anything on the store. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to share this episode. Share the episode.
Right.
We want to get this out to as many people as possible, because when we do Couch Cross, the more people we get the podcast out to, the more people we can get on Couch Cross, and then things really, really start getting fun.
Oh, yeah.
Then we can start doing like giveaways on Couch Cross and all prizes and all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure everybody is sharing and tagging and emailing and messaging. Just get it out there. Get it out to as many people as you can. If you're interested in helping us out, we do run some ads sometimes to reach new audiences. So if you're interested in helping out, you can jump over to power2theground.com, go to the donate tab, and you can drop a donation of your choosing. right over there. And other than that, man, that's all I got for tonight. That was episode 57. I think we killed it, regardless of the fact that both of us are exhausted right now.
Oh yeah,
But
and we started off on mute, so
we did start off on mute. I'll be sure to trim that out.
Right.
On the Facebook side.
We definitely had a Tomac night. A bad start, but we came through for the finish, man.
We finished strong. Yeah. All right, dude.
All right, we'll catch you.
Have a good night, everybody, and we will see you on the next one.